And I am back, and I am here with another Get Ready With Me makeup tutorial for you guys, featuring this sultry, smoky, I would call like a gunmetal silver eye with a pop of color on the lower lash line. I think that's my signature. I need to trademark it because that's my jam, and the majority of the products that I'm using in this video are from Urban Decay. I have quite a few Urban Decay products in my collection, and I have some new ones from their Heavy Metals Holiday collection that I wanted to put to use and show you guys how they apply. So if you want to see how I accomplished this look, then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon. Hey there guys, so as usual I'm starting off with a clean, freshly washed face, and I'm actually going in with this primer from LUSH Cosmetics. It's the Magical Moringa Primer. It says it mattifies and primes skin with silky argan and moringa oil. So I've been using this for a little bit now. I just grab a little bit on my spatula. It is kind of a wax that you have to scoop out, and then as you apply it to your skin it melts into this oily texture. And that made me very nervous because I was like, what is happening? And the girl at LUSH who helped me with this told me to use very little and just massage it into the skin. And I've been doing that, and I like it as a first step. It's a nice primer that makes my skin feel nice and moisturized, but not oily at all. And it does absorb into the skin and leaves behind this powdery finish, so it doesn't feel greasy at all. Even though initially when it melts and it's oily, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I've been liking that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows, and I'll be right back. And we're back. Brows are filled in, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my eyeshadow primer. This is my Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. It is just my favorite eyeshadow primer. I mean, I have a couple of favorites, let's be honest. I use quite a few eyeshadow primers that I like, but I feel like this one is the most universal because it feels hydrating, but it helps to really seal in the oils on my eyelids. How did I lose a whole palette? Where did I put it? How? This cannot be happening. Stupid, I put it in my drawer. Anyway. So I want to try out this new palette from Urban Decay. They actually sent this to me in a set. They sent me their full Heavy Metal Holiday collection. So this includes their Heavy Metals palette right here, and yep, the glitter eyeliners. So they've already had glitter eyeliners, but they also released some new shades. So they sent me, I believe this is the full lineup. I may be wrong. Some of the shades may be missing. I think I do have a couple of extra shades in my collection that are not available here. But they have like some beautiful gunmetal shades. They have some iridescent like clear ones. They have some pinky hues, like some darker smoky purples, and then some blues. And they also have a metal meets matte lipstick palette. So I want to play around with the eyeshadow palette. This was one that I was tempted to get. I'm on a no buy, but I was like, I always get the Urban Decay holiday palettes, and I'm like, why didn't I think that I would want this? And happily they sent it to me, so I didn't have to get it. I'm so happy. The packaging is a little bulky, and a lot of Urban Decay limited edition packaging is a little bit bulky. It's a little bit much, but I think it's still pretty. It's a display piece if anything, but it holds fingerprints like crazy. But it's this beautiful metallized purple. It has like a crushed metal end to it, and it works like a drawer. So you push it out and you have two sides to it. So one side is a neutral side. It has bronzes, some more taupey shades, and then some ruby type red wine shades. And then on the other side you have these jewel tone shades. You have a teal, blue, you have some purples. You actually have two purples. Again, some silver shades, blackened gunmetal. You have a green and a true silver. So I want to play with this These are a different kind of formula for Urban Decay because it's more of a dimethicone rich formula where they're really buttery, really creamy. They're gonna give you this really metallic finish. I think the neutral tones give more of just a subtle frosty finish, but then the jewel tones really give this nice metallized finish. So let's see what kind of mischief we can get into with this palette. So I went ahead and started the look on one eye. I wasn't quite sure what I was going for, what I wanted to do with this palette, so I just played around a bit. And this is what I came up with so far, which is a smoky eye. I know we have colorful shades in the palette. I haven't done a silver smoky eye on my channel in a while, if ever. Have I ever? Have I ever? I don't know. So this is what we're going to start off with. Of course, I'm going to do a colorful lower lash line. So let's go ahead and get into this other eye. I'm actually going to start off with a matte eyeshadow base. There's a lot of shimmer about to happen, so I want to start out with a matte. So this is from Sephora. It's one of their matte cream pencils. It's shade number 33, which is Secret Boudoir, and you have to say it like that, boudoir, so it's all sensual. So it's a matte cream color, and I'm just gonna buff that over my lid with my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. I just want to make sure that my lid is not overwhelmed with shimmer, so I'm just mattifying it, and this will also work to give our eyeshadows something to stick to. Now, there are no matte shades in the palette, so I'm grabbing the shade Naked from Urban Decay, which is a matte neutral beige, and I'm just going to buff that in my crease using one of the Urban Decay brushes as well. This is a E202. It's a large eye shader brush, and it just allows me to apply a nice sweep of color in that transition brow bone area, just using windshield wiper motions. The first shade I'm going in with is this one here, which is Aluminum. And I'm using my Rite Aid synthetic brush for this. These are all shimmer shades like I mentioned before. So a synthetic brush will work best. And I'm applying this to pretty much the center of the lid. I dampened my brush a little bit with my Smashbox primer water. I didn't really wet it. I just did about one spritz to get the brush a little bit damp. So I'm just pressing the color on the center of the lid, and then I'll clean off the brush and go around the edge just a little bit. We aren't worried about blending too much right now. We're just getting that color down. Then we're gonna go over to the neutral side and grab the shade Acoustic. This one is more of a golden, like a golden taupe. A taupe is a mix between silver and gold. And this one is more on the golden side. So I'm just mixing it in with the silver. And because it is more of a taupe, it's going to blend in with that silver on the lid. And you see they mesh together well. And I'm actually going to grab my Eddie Funkhauser crease brush to build that color up just a little bit more. This one is, I'm applying it dry. Now, someone mentioned in my favorites brush video that she ordered the Eddie Funkhauser brushes because of my recommendation, and this crease brush is scratchy for her. Here's the thing, I really appreciate her mentioning that because I want to know what's going on, like what's really going on. This brush I got from my Rite Aid, and then Eddie went ahead and redid his brushes. He got a new manufacturer, and he sent me like a set of his brushes, and I noticed that the ones that he sent me are a little scratchier, and I had to wash them and add conditioner to them for them to soften up. Meanwhile, the ones that I got from Rite Aid originally when I just discovered them are so soft. So I feel like it's changed a little bit. So maybe skip out on the pencil brush, because if it's scratchy, I do not want you guys to go ahead and pick it up on my recommendation and then you're like, it's scratchy, because mine is really soft. So just putting it out there, and I'm glad that somebody mentioned that. Now we're gonna go back on the metal side, and I'm grabbing the shade Ground. Now this guy is a sparkly black shade, but it applies as more of a satin. This is a ColourPop large shader brush. I actually got the full set of these, but I haven't been putting them to use, so I decided to just pull them out today. So I'm applying this on the outer lid, just going zigzag back and forth motions. And because all of these colors have similar tones, they're just gonna blend out really nicely. Now the ColourPop brushes are really soft, and I wish I had used them a little bit more so that I could recommend them if I really like them. Now, I mean, the full set was $50 when I got it. It was on sale. I don't know if it went up in price or went back to the regular price, or just they're just gonna keep it at $50. But it's $50 for 12 brushes, like for real. We're talking about 12 face and eye brushes, and I think that's a pretty good deal. I mean, if you equate it, it's less than $5 a brush. This is the small tapered brush, and I'm just gonna go around the edge of that black that we placed down just to do a little bit of blending, because I want to grab this color here, which is spandex, this dark sparkly purple, and I'm grabbing it on the small tapered brush just to give like a little bit of a purple tint to that dark color in the crease. So I'm using this very lightly in the crease. I'm trying to actually keep right on the crease line because you see it's going too far up right now. We'll try to clean that up. But I just want that purple to kind of peek through the darkness and just give a little, you see how you just see a little bit of purple? That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Now, as you can see, that just went way over what we needed it to do. So I'm grabbing a blending brush. This is a E201, also from Urban Decay, and I'm just gonna go back and forth with circular motions and back and forth windshield wiper motions to blend out the edge. When we apply our highlighter, we'll blend that down a little bit more, but for now I want it to fade out the edge of that darkness because we don't want it to go too high up. Just going back and forth again like an eraser to try to blend out and buff out the edge. So you'll see it nicely faded out. So we're in business again. So now we're gonna go ahead and darken up the outer V with a matte black. This is Blackout, also from Urban Decay. This is a really good black, and it's not too overwhelming where it's just gonna go everywhere. And that's what I need from a black. I need it to be black, richly pigmented, but at the same time be buildable. So I don't need it to be like crazy pigment and then I don't know what to do because I can't blend it out. I just need it to have rich, like be a rich black, not like a charcoal, but also allow me to build it up. Now this is a brush from Zoeva. It's a blending brush. It's the 227 Soft Definer, and I'm just using the black to define the outer V. I'm not pulling it too far up because I learned my lesson. I'm just applying it to the outer V and pulling it inwards, just using pressing and dragging motions. So you'll see now we have that definition like we have on the other eye, but it's not too far up and it's not too crazy. So I really like the blend that we've achieved. I have a little bit of fallout, so I'll get rid of that before I do anything else. Just a little makeup wipe. This is pretty easy to clean up, thankfully. Even though it's a rich black, it's like really easy to get off my face, which is why I actually like this black. Now let's do the highlight that we're talking about. This is ABC Gum from Urban Decay. It's like a matte peachy ivory or peachy beige, and I'm applying that directly under my brow bone with my MAC 252 large shader brush, and I'm turning the brush on its side so I can pull some of that color down to blend out the edge of the dark shades we have on that crease, so it pulls down the darkness a little bit. Now I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm gonna go in with this fun touch. This is one of the heavy metal glitter liners from Urban Decay. It's the shade ACDC, and it's like a gunmetal shade, but it has like a little bronzy undertone to it. And I'm just applying that to the very center of the lid. That's gonna give us a little bit of a glitter accent. I don't know, I think it adds a fun touch to this, so it's not just, hey, here's my silver smoky eye. I actually have a little bit of interest right on the middle. And I'm gonna allow that to dry a little bit, and then we're gonna blend it out. So just let it dry. Okay, now that it's dry, I'm gonna go back in with my Rite Aid synthetic brush and just kind of tap over it. And this is gonna push it into the product on the lid and kind of tame it a little bit so it looks like a little bit more cohesive. It looks like a part of the eyeshadow rather than, hey, I'm a topper and so what, you know? So I think that's pretty good. I'm a stickler for blending, so I'm gonna go back in and just go around the edges a little bit with a clean blending brush. Just a little zigzag back and forth, because I feel like the colors need to get a little bit more buff in action. What do you think? Yeah, just a little bit bit more so it's nice and seamless. Yeah, I think that's good. I kind of want to pay homage to Urban Decay a little bit, so I'm also going to go in with another product from them for my primer. This is the D-Slick Complexion Primer. This is intense. It is no joke. It is mattifying, pore minimizing, and what else does it say? It is a shine control product. So I'm just going to apply this over my nose and in my cheek area where I have my pore action happening. And you don't want to go crazy with this because it mattifies. So I'm going to just press that into my skin. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to get a little bit in my forehead too because these forehead lines, ooh, child. I move my face a lot. I have tons of expressions and a lot of them cause my forehead to do some of this. And it is not good for the wrinkle action. And I actually, you know what? I don't mind wrinkles, to be honest with you, because it's showing that, you know what? I've had experience. I am not a friggin' tender bird anymore. I am 34, about to be 35. So I'm not here trying to look like 18. And I'm okay with looking my age. But that, I'm going to let that sit a little bit. I think with this primer, you do have to let it sit on it. I mean, with all primers, you should really let them sit on your skin for a few minutes. Now, Urban Decay has two liquid foundations. They have the All Nighter foundation, which is the newer one, which is like a matte full coverage foundation. Then they have the Naked Skin Ultra Definition liquid foundation. I gotta try those out again. I just never fell in love with those formulations. Mostly because I couldn't find my shade, one that really matched me. If you're going full coverage, you kind of need a shade that matches you. So instead, I'm using this One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. Now this is more of like a tinted moisturizer or like a BB cream. It's not meant to be like a full-on foundation. And this surprised me because it really does give good coverage, more than I expected it to. The shade I'm using is dark, and they have a couple more shades that are darker than this. And again, I wasn't expecting a lot from this complexion product because I'm like, oh, it's really lightweight. What's it gonna do? They released it with one of their summer collections, so it was really meant to be just a lightweight product, and it is lightweight. But it gives me just enough coverage where I'm happy with it. It doesn't cover everything, but I don't know if by now you realize that I don't necessarily love full coverage. I like a nice coverage that gives me enough to even out my complexion, but I don't need you to block out my skin completely. I don't need you to give me a mask effect. I actually prefer a lighter weight product. If you really love full coverage or you really want medium coverage, this is not for you. This to me is more of a light, buildable, maybe even semi-medium. I wouldn't call it full medium because it really isn't giving a ton of coverage. But if you just want something for every day to finish your skin, to give it a little bit of zhuzh so it looks nice and polished, but you don't want cake face, this is a good one. And again, very surprised. I was not expecting a lot from it, but I really like it. And for oily skin, it actually works pretty well too. It's not overly hydrating, so it doesn't feel greasy on the skin, and it doesn't really get oily either. But with a primer and powder, you know it's gonna last longer. By itself, it does need a little help on oily skin. Now let's go ahead and apply the concealer. You know what this is. This is the Naked Skin, what is it called? The Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. Shade I use is dark neutral, and I'm just gonna apply that right under my eyes. Pull it down a little bit where I need a little bit more coverage. Let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and blend it out. All right, the concealer is down and we've let it sit for a couple of minutes. Now I'm gonna blend it out with a dampened beauty blender. This is one of their neon sponges. They sent this to me. I was like, hey, beauty blender. They sent me this during the summertime. It's a trio of their neon beauty blenders. So this is pretty. I love a beauty blender. It's just a foolproof blender. When in doubt, the beauty blender will not steer you wrong. So I'm just using that to tap out the under eye. And I'm actually going to go in with the Urban Decay Velvetizer powder. This is an interesting product. You don't know what to do with it because they released it as a powder that you're supposed to mix with like liquid foundation to make it a little bit more matte. It's not a setting powder at all, so people shouldn't mistake it for that. But Andrea Mattiano here on YouTube, she mentioned that she uses this to set her concealer and she loves it and it's like her favorite thing ever, and she recommends the powder just for that reason. And I'm like, I never thought to do that. Like, I used it once before, tried to set my face, and I was like, no. And I said, you know what, let me try it under my eyes. And seriously, do you see this? How under my eyes literally looks airbrushed and fake compared to the rest of my skin right now? She was so right about this. Like, whew, Laura Mercier, who? And it doesn't leave behind like that stark white cast that loose powder can on darker skin. My mind was actually blown, and thank you, Andrea, for suggesting that. So if you wanted to try this powder out and you were looking for an under eye powder, try it out. Now is the time. Now, if you know me, what shade am I going with on the lower lash line? Yep, you would be right. It's this shade right here, Amp. I'm grabbing that on a MAC 242. And we're gonna get up on that lower lash line. Again, I dampened my brush a little bit with my Smashbox primer water. What else is new? And I'm just going right up against the lower lash line with this color. Oh, that is too beautiful for words. I'm pulling this about 3/4 of the way in, so not all the way in. And then I'm going to go in with the metal gold here called Twisted on a very small brush. And we're going to apply that on the inner lower lash line. Oh my god, that is pretty. And then where they meet, they kind of create this green. That's really pretty as well. I didn't even add a green and it's already doing it. Oh, that's so good. That is so pretty, guys. I cannot. Now we cannot leave it like that. We're gonna need to blend out the edge. So I'm just gonna go in with a clean blending brush and go around the edges of that color just to make it a little bit more hazy so that there are no harsh lines. It's just like a haze of color. Then I'll line my waterline with this matte deep teal shade from Urban Decay. It's one of their 24/7 Glide On pencils. They released a few new shades of these and I love these. This is the shade Mainline and it glides on my waterline really well and they stay in place a really long time. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara to my upper lashes, and I'm going in first with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which is my favorite mascara of all time, and that was the perfect time to actually use the Urban Decay Troublemaker mascara. So I totally failed on that one, but I'm going to go in with the Troublemaker mascara as well, just to finish it up. I do like the Troublemaker mascara for separating my lashes, but it doesn't give me the amount of volume that I want. But it's a decent formula if you're looking for separation and just a everyday natural look to your eyelashes. I'll also apply that to my lower lashes. It's not the best for the lower lashes. It's not really giving me what I need from a lower lash mascara, which is why I prefer my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara. Now let's finish off the eyes. I want to do a little bit more intensity on that inner tear duct, so I'm actually going in with this shade from Urban Decay. It's the shade Easy Baked. It's one of their beautiful shimmer shades, and I'm just gonna pop that on my inner tear duct area using a petite crease brush from Zoeva, and I'm using like circular motions to really make sure that color pops. Do you see that? This is such a beautiful inner tear duct highlight for darker skin tone because it's not like a stark silver or white. It just blends in because it's more golden. So I really like that guy. Alright, to finish up the eyes, I'm going to go in with these lashes also from Urban Decay. It's their Urban Lash. It's the Style Entrapment. And it's just a regular style lash. These are cruelty free, so if you were looking for a cruelty free option, you can go ahead and grab these. They're a pretty style lash. They actually are very lightweight. They wear comfortably. They apply pretty easily. It's just that when you think Urban Decay, you never quite think of eyelashes, but they do have eyelashes in case you were curious and wanted to check them out. Now we're gonna go ahead and set my face, and I don't think I have to tell you what I'm using. I'm using my Urban Decay Ultra Definition Powder Foundation in the shade Medium Dark Golden, and I'm just going to pounce this over my skin using my Tarte Powder Player brush to set my foundation in place. And this foundation, or this BB cream, and this powder together are like a match made in heaven. It gives me now the medium, even full coverage that a lot of people may be looking for. It just makes my skin look really flawless, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Now let's go ahead and do a little bronze and contouring. I'm using the Urban Decay Beached Bronzer in the shade Bronze. I believe there are 2 shades to this. I'm just using my Sonia Kashuk face brush to do a little bit of shaping in the hollows of my cheeks, and I'll also pull a little bit of that in my forehead and temple area to give a little bit of shading. Nothing too crazy. I really like this bronzer. I didn't, again, expect a lot from this bronzer, but I got the previous shade, which is Sunkissed, and I had to go ahead and get the deeper shade because I think it's such a flattering shade on my skin, and it just gives me a light sun-kissed look without being too intense or too crazy. It's not too red, it's not too orange, it's just perfect. And I would go in with a blush from Urban Decay, but I just don't like their blushes. I bought 2 of their blushes on sale and I returned them. Even though I got them at a sales price, it was just not enough for me to keep them. They were just not cute. This is a Laura Geller Vivid Baked Gelato Vivid Swirl Blush. The shade is Rosewater. It's just a simple, light, like a pinky coral flush. And I'm just applying that with one of my NARS brushes, just to give a little kiss of color to the cheeks. Nothing too crazy. And I pretty much powdered the hell out of my face, so now this may be a fail for me, but I'm going in with this highlighting fluid. I picked up a couple of shades of these. This one is Fireball. So they came out with these. They're in the same style as their concealer packaging. So it has that doe foot applicator, and it's a liquid highlighter. I don't know how this is gonna go. I put it on the bottom of my beauty blender. Okay, that was a bit much. And I'm just gonna tap it over the high points of my cheeks. I think this might not have been the wisest decision. Yeah, I don't think that was smart of me, but we're gonna just try to blend it out. If you're gonna use this product, probably use it before you go in with powder. But you know what? It's not really that bad. It's blending out okay, but it's not really, I guess you would, I mean, I like a subtle highlighter, but that barely did anything. I can see this working if I was going for a no makeup look, and I just popped a little bit of that on my cheeks to give a glow without looking like I tried too hard. But that is very, very light. Not, Now, honestly, truly, I expected more from that highlighting liquid. I was probably going to use this anyway, but I just expected a little bit more impact from the liquid itself. But we're going to go in with the Naked Illuminated, what is this called? Naked Illuminating Shimmering Powder for Face and Body. This is also the shade Fireball. The thing about this is, alright, I kind of get it on my brush and tap it off because it has a lot of glitter to it. And I don't like that, so I kind of shake off the glitter and then go over my cheeks with it. It's a pretty color, but I feel like Urban Decay just doesn't do well with their highlighters. They haven't really found the sweet spot yet. They still need to work on them. They're pretty, like this is really pretty, but I feel like it's not great compared to all the other highlighters they have on the market right now. There's just too much competition for you not to get your highlighters just perfect. So wouldn't recommend them for highlighters at all or for their blushes, but there are other products that they really excel at. Speaking of, let's move on to the lips. I'm going to actually use this Vice lipstick palette that they released with the Heavy Metals collection. This is a lipstick palette with 12 shades. 6 of the shades are cream finishes, and then they have the matching metallic version of the same shade. They do include a lip brush with this palette as well. I am not the biggest fan of lipstick palettes. Oh, it's retractable, but it's like a neat retractable. All right, now Urban Decay, let me find out. Now, as I was saying, I'm not the biggest fan of lipstick palettes because I just find them to be a little bit, I don't know, they're just not the best way to do a lipstick for me. But I'm gonna go in with this shade. They have a nude shade in here called Tame. It's the creamy pinky nude, and this actually picks up pretty nicely on the brush, and it's giving me nice opacity. Okay, maybe I was wrong, but they've done these for holidays before. In fact, they released 2 last year that were really beautiful as well, but this one is a little bit of a different concept because it has the cream and then the metallized versions. And this lip brush is actually doing a pretty good job of picking up the color and applying it to my lips. So I might need to eat my words because this is actually a really pretty color and it feels exactly like their cream lipstick formula, which is weird to me because for me, when lipsticks are in a palette form, they have a different texture, a different formula, because in a palette form, they need to make sure the formula is stable in that open space. And I find that the formula tends to be dry or waxy or just too creamy where it just slides all over the place. This is actually pretty spot on with their original formula, so I am happy with this. And this color is actually a really pretty nude. I'm gonna go over it with one of the metallic shades, the matching shade, which is Amulet. I'm not gonna put this all over my lips, just in the very center and blend it out. Actually, after putting it on the center of the lips, I kind of want to apply it all over because it gives this really beautiful metallic glossiness to the lips that I really like, and it also deepens the lip color just a little bit too. Alright guys, so here you have it. This is the completed look, and I am really happy with how this turned out. I haven't done like a gunmetal silver and black smoky eye in a minute, and I love how this turned out. And the pop of glitter on the center of the lid is just fantastic, and none of this glitter is falling all over my face, which again is fantastic. I love glitter. I love a glitter eye, but I hate when the glitter goes every which way. And the Stila Magnificent Metals glitter eyeshadows, I love those. I really love them, but they can be messy. And with these glitter liners from Urban Decay, they're an actual glitter liner which is meant to stay in place, so it actually works out in our favor if we use it kind of as an eyeshadow topper, because it does stay in place. Like nothing has flaked off or anything, so I really love those. If you're looking for like an accent glitter, that's a good one to try out. And I also really love the lipstick palette. I was surprised by this. I wasn't expecting much, and then it just blew me away. And again, this has 6 cream lipsticks and then corresponding shades in a metallic finish. And the metallic finish that they mention is more like a shiny lip glossy look. It gives this, I don't know, this juicy look to the lips without being gritty. Like there's no glitter in this. There is about, I think, one shade, the pink one, that has a little bit of glitter in it. So that one you might feel a little bit more grit on the lips. But I think this just gives a beautiful look without having to add a gloss. It gives a shiny effect to the lips. And the lip brush and everything, it just works. And so if you wanted to try this out, I would say go ahead and try it out. I think it's like $34. Let me double check. I was almost right. It's actually $35 and you get 12 shades in here. Each of their lipsticks retail for $17. Of course, you're gonna get the whole tube and you get a single shade. In here, you get to try out 12 different shades for $35. So I actually think that's a good bargain. And the packaging is beautiful. It has this beautiful mirror that is, the clarity is great. Like it's a full-size mirror. And then it has this plastic protector over the lipsticks, which again helps with securing them. No dust or like powder is gonna get in them. And then you have the built-in lip brush, which is really great. So I do recommend this. I think this is really nice. As far as the eyeshadow palette goes, I like this palette, but I like Urban Decay eyeshadows. So if you've never liked Urban Decay eyeshadows, this is not the palette that's going to win you over. I do think it's a little bit different from their typical frost shades, but it's not significantly different. And you may be a little bit misled by the heavy metals theme. It is not what you would expect from heavy metals, at least not what I would expect. From the name, I was expecting it to be like a high shine foiled eyeshadow formula. It really isn't. It's just a beautiful shimmery eyeshadow. It's more of a almost like a molten dimethicone rich formula. So it's really smooth. It applies and gives you opacity without having that kind of fine particle look to it, which I really like. But don't expect it to be really metallic shiny. You can dampen them, you can use them dry, and they're gonna give you just this beautiful finish to your lids. I almost feel like they're a sophisticated metal. One that I prefer because I have lines in my lids and I have slightly hooded eyes. So shimmer transfers to my crease and it's just a mess. And I find that these, even though there's a little bit of transfer, it doesn't look obvious because it's not that frosty, shiny finish. It just looks like it melts in with the crease colors, which I appreciate. So if you're looking for high shine, really metallic shades, these are not them. But if you're looking for just a sophisticated shimmer with jewel tones and then neutral tones that are more on the warm side, which is trending right now, this might be a good palette for you to check out. But again, it's not going to win you over if you just never loved Urban Decay eyeshadows before, because I feel like it's consistent with their formulation from their previous holiday collection. Like their Spectrum palette from the holiday that I highly recommended to you guys to pick up. Not the full Spectrum palette with like the rainbow of shades. Not that big palette. I'm talking about the holiday Spectrum palette. That was divine, and this is like a similar formulation. I do like it, and I would recommend it, but it depends on what you're looking for in eyeshadows. As far as their face products go, I love the primer. It's great for oily skin. Like, have you seen me shine once? I've had this makeup on for about 2 hours now. No shine. Trust me on this. If you get that primer and apply it in your oily spots, it's going to have you shine free for a very long time. Typically, I get shiny around the 5-hour mark after wearing a foundation, and this keeps me matte for a good 6, 7, even 8 hours, especially if I use powder with it. So, really good primer. Just be mindful that it's drying. So don't be like, oh, I'm gonna try it. I have dry skin, but I'm gonna try it. No. You have to use it if you have oily skin. Do not attempt this at home if you are not really oily, because it's gonna dry you up and you're gonna be like, you know what, Tina, tell me about how I'm gonna try it and look how it dry me up. I told you to use it if you have oily skin, so don't blame me. Don't blame me. Wait, say yes, sorry, not my problem. No, for real though. Make sure that you have oily skin if you're gonna try that out. And the Beauty Balm, if you are just looking for a lightweight complexion product, I think that's a really good one for oily skin too, because it's not like a moisturizer, like a tinted moisturizer. It's a really good, like, just a tinted complexion product. Like it said, it's a hybrid product. It doesn't leave a shine behind. It gives you a really nice finish. And if you powder it, you can get a medium coverage from it. I really like it as well. And I've been wearing that like on a daily basis. I think it's a really good one for the summertime. I was wearing it more in the summertime as well. Really, really good product. So overall, those are my thoughts. I thought I'd give you a little bit of feedback at the end of the video after, you know, you see me apply the products. And I've used a couple of these products multiple times, so I do have a good feel for some of them. So hopefully you found this video helpful, if not at the very least entertaining. And as usual, I will leave a full list of the products used and mentioned in this video down in the description box, along with links on where you can pick them up. Those links happen to be affiliate links that I generate through Ulta and Sephora, which means if you make a purchase through those links, I do end up getting a small sales commission. If you're not comfortable with that, go ahead and shop the way you normally shop. No muss and no fuss. But if you do shop through my links, thank you so much for the support because it does help me to put back into the channel. I will also leave links to my Instagram and Twitter page where you should definitely be following me along. And at the end of this video, there will also be a couple of videos that you can check out in case you are interested. And if you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, definitely don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Maybe add this to your favorites. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.